This is the mystery font. We are within the mystery font's camera obscura, and the sun is the solitary star, having moved through its transit to pierce through this doorway into a space of blue sky. So we have a single star passing its way through the font. And at this time of year it makes it back there. And this is the transit it makes on January 6th, 2025. On this day 4 years ago, Donald Trump had loaded a crossbow, drawing it back more and more each day. A crossbow that, when released, would draw together a long plan, including degrading our expectations of elections, including, as Steve Bannon has said on video and did so before the deeds were done, that regardless of the outcome on the election night in 2020, Trump was planning to declare victory regardless of the outcome. And that, as Steve Bannon affirmed on video, the plan on January 6th was just to not allow any certification and simply to stay in office, to simply stay. He told us how he would do it. At the debate in 2016, where he was asked about following the rules. Asked about following the rules, he said he would tell us at the time. Interestingly enough, J.D. Vance said basically the identical thing when asked about Trump's fraud around the 2020 election. He said, "I'm focusing on the future." A lot like saying, "I'll tell you in the future. I'll tell you my thoughts if I win. I'll tell you my thoughts on election security and Trump fraud in elections." But on January 5th, he had as much to answer for, more to answer for, than any candidate ever. More than any former president ever was there on his plate to be accounted for. He told us he would keep us in suspense, and then he told us he had been cheated. He told us, and Rudy Giuliani told us, they had proof. It's funny that either than mentioning that the FBI was somehow getting in the way of such proof, which he claimed was everywhere, he didn't really mention it much until that proof he had promised was also not mentioned, having drawn people together, saying it will be a wild time, loading us with the lie, loading us with the falsehood. So people who had believed him were there ready to fight to save their country. And because they believed him, they were ready to do the opposite of what was needed to achieve the end of saving their country. He hoodwinked everyone. He may have hoodwinked himself. It seems he plays along better with the lie when he believes it. It seems he may have lost control. But it seems clearer that we have basically two choices. He meant to do what he did, as in he had volition to do harm, or he was incompetent. And anywhere on the spectrum between incompetence and volition, well, anywhere on the spectrum between incompetence and volition is totally disqualifying. If he was so bad at being the one to preside that he just about shat out the end of democracy, that he tried to obstruct and stop democracy and did so until he realized it wouldn't finish that day, until he realized he had bit off more than could be chewed at once. Was he so incompetent, or did he mean to do it? And anywhere on this between incompetence or volition, it could be he didn't mean to and screwed up. It could be he meant to and loved it. It could be anywhere in between, and nowhere on the continuum between incompetence and volition, there's nowhere that absolves him of it being entirely unacceptable, entirely disqualifying. And after he was stopped and people had attacked us, after he had told the Secret Service, no, shut off those magnetometers, I don't care if my people have weapons. It's fine if my people have weapons. He tried to go to the Capitol himself and was stopped by Secret Service. One of the only declarations that they stepped in front of his malice ever. That at that moment they were protecting the presidency, potentially over the president, and that is good. The Secret Service is supposed to be able to recognize a president who is a danger to the presidency, and they're supposed to be able to recognize a president who is an intentional danger to the presidency, because I think the duty they swear is to protect the presidency and the president as a host of that. But he stopped his coup, and it wasn't many days before he started saying he did nothing wrong. And then it wasn't too terribly long before this traitor decided to bring something else into the mix. there's no way whatsoever to spin bastardizing the Pledge of Allegiance and bastardizing the national anthem. If Dominique Pellico had taught all of the rapists he employed to attack his ex-wife, if he had sung their song with these criminals he had joined into his crime against his wife, if the guards heard people singing and it were reported that this defiling act was taking place, that Dominique Pellico was singing a song of his marriage and just assaulting and vandalizing its memory, we would recognize it as absolute malice and an attempt to trump or transcend and turn inside out what had been a loyal wife and partner thought. They thought that was their song. We, the loyal citizens of the United States, thought that the United States had a national anthem that was ours, and that it should not be sung by people who attack us in allegiance with that attack. That should not have happened. We should have recognized, when it did, we should have recognized that Donald Trump was defiling our national anthem, was defiling the Pledge of Allegiance, and making a global statement of allegiance with the insurrection against our Constitution and our country. He made an attack and an act of war against our country by recording this terroristic rallying cry, digesting and shitting out our national anthem.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America.
No. No. No! That was an act of war. That was an act of degrading reality, defecating. That was tearing the fabric of our reality, or making us look directly into the face of someone saying, "Eat shit, America." That's him telling us it's Donald J. Trump first. That's him telling us he posed and poses an alternative to the United States presidency. We are under attack. And Donald Trump has only ever used Darvo. We are experiencing abuse and terror. And we are experiencing the ongoing use by Donnie Darvo of Darvo, deny, attack, to reverse victim and offender. Because, yes, it was a horrific crime. Yes, we gave him a pass on committing horrific crime. Yes, we were comfortable with someone betraying our country and just saying, it's good. He is a bad faith actor. He's a bad faith actor who has used shocking boundary violations again and again and again to do harm, telling us he can grab us by our genitals, telling us that our private parts as a nation could be just taken past guards and out of safes, that our private parts could simply be declassified, and if removed from his possession, he would tell us he was wronged. He was wronged because he had declassified those private parts of ours with his mind. Oh, so far back in time. Oh, so far back in time. I'll keep you in suspense is not something you say. In we're having good times. It's not something you ever want to hear from a presidential candidate when you ask them if you'll obey the rules. It's not something you want to hear from a potential sexual partner if they're asking to come up to your apartment and you say, okay, but it's an early day. Let's just hang out for an hour and then I need you to go. If they say, I'll keep you in suspense, close the door behind you and in front of them. Though, I'll keep you in suspense is just about 100% not a joke. And in the case of Donald Trump, it is just another death threat. When you know people will look at the film and you choose to look in the camera and pretend that you are shooting people and say, I could shoot you and not lose anybody. That shouldn't have been a moment that we just passed by. We have been sent reinforcements by his own mistaken splatter. The diarrhea within him just shouts and splatters and leaks. And we've had leaks of enough of a truth from him that we should have seen. We should have recognized a flow of hokum, of hocus pocus woven into reality that is obscuring our view of reality and disguising how Darvanold lives in Darvoland. Deny, attack, reverse victim and offender. We have been forced to submit. You've been forced to submit. The star has exited the blue field and now is tracing across again to the red and white stripes, as it does in its transit here at the Mystery Font. Sneezes. Sneezes, sneezes. When someone unmasks, you shouldn't give them a pass for that. When someone says, I could shoot somebody, and they actually pull their finger like it's wrapping around a trigger on a gun, and say, whoopsie, he told us. He knew you would look. He knew you would see this, and so he pointed into the lens and said, I could shoot you in the street and not lose anybody. It's crazy. The people, they'll do anything for me. They love me. I could shoot them and not lose anybody. It is then that we should realize we are in an abuse. You are in an abusive relationship. Shocking boundary violations are one common grooming tactic of a narcissist or dark triad personality. If someone in your life points into a camera knowing you'll be looking at the view screen and pulls their finger like a trigger, looking into your eyes, saying, I could shoot someone in the street and not lose anyone, it is a good indicator of a bad situation. You are in an abusive relationship. Who has leveraged and climbed upon a fog of falsehood? Who has donned the falsehood? Who is the falsehood? We're here at the mystery font, and The sun is making its transit. Ah, it still has yet to come out from the hallway. Well, the day will continue, and we will be here at the Mystery Font, charting events. But first of all, it was important to make sense. Because we were told by a malicious, dangerous party, when asked if we would be treated fairly, when asked if someone would follow the rules, when asked, you say you will return the watch if we entrust you with it, but will you return the watch at the appropriate time in a peaceful transfer of power, as you claim? Will you honor the watch and give it back? What did he say? He said, I'll keep you in suspense. He told us we would be held in suspense. And so we have been, and so we are. As if held in the sky. That floating star just manages to nestle somehow into matter. Into particulate matter, that it floats. No, not quite. No, it is the transit of the sun, in allegory here in the font. And we are remembering now how this person told us he would do what he wanted to do. He told us he would keep us in suspense. Are we not still in suspense? Are we not in suspense, having suspended ourselves? Have we not submitted? Have we not submitted entirely? When someone tries to renegotiate the terms of office in a debate, they're ejected from the proceedings unless we have submitted them to them already. I think that's where we are. Someone needs to be able to manifest the ability to say no to a revenging, violent, dark, triad, malignant, narcissistic predator. We're dealing with a predator. And I believe in us. And that's why I know no matter what harm Donald Trump and his band of Nazi patriarchal terrorists do, that we're at a moment of resilience and recognition and empowerment. Because having voted for a president and having seen massive massive reality distortions intentionally circumvent advised consent, we know that we are experiencing the oncoming of what is an occupation. And we do not deserve to be farmed or forever taxed into greater and greater collapse. We are the reality distortion fielding, and we can perceive the falsehood. And the hero Teresa Cuomo showed us that we can climb to the height of liberty collapsed on the ground as we are. And remind ourselves to pick up our body and stand again. We have to preside over Donald Trump. We have to be the presidents of Donald Trump because he refuses to be the president of America. He's here for conquest and looting a body he is asking people to dismember for him. We are the reality distortion fielding, and we can foster safety, we can foster accountability, we can apprehend the falsehood. And next time, we take the next step. It's January 6th, it's 4 years since the day when Donald Trump finally physically, violently attacked the United States, unmasking and showing his mens rea to take over and coerce and loot America. Women are under attack. Everyone who is not a white, straight, cis male is experiencing attack and it's time to wake up. A body that is not aware enough to take care of itself or ask for help or recognize what help others need around. A body that can neither take care of self nor others must not be awake or must be submitted or must be broken. We are the reality distortion fielding, and we have submitted to a person telling us, just trust me as I remove all regulation, as I remove all institutions claiming that they're full of bad people, and instead of dealing with the problems, we're just destroying everything. You want to put all students who have any special need that is seen to by people being paid to see to that need, you want to put all of those people into free fall? That happens during war. That happens during natural disasters. We are being stalked. The siege that has taken 9 years so far continues. Think about what you deserve. Think about what all people deserve. Think about how virtue deserves someone signaling that it exists and must be protected. Think about how potentially the only bad virtue signal is one that's false. Think about how a violent Nazi is telling you not to be woke, not to be aware, not to know what's happening in yourself and other people's lives enough to help and just be a decent neighbor. Elon Musk is asking us, and Trump is there in the chorus saying, there's a woke mind virus that must be exterminated? DEI must die? These are Nazi death threats. Christ was lynched for being woke. Basic awareness is supposed to be something that we foster in others, that we appreciate, that we're grateful for. Be woke or be smoke. Be woke or no snoke. Be not smoke. Be not prey to predator today, New Colossus. Be not prey to predator today. Be play. Be play. We are the reality distortion fielding. Be play.